It's Jordan Tower with JT News. Well, Jim Jones just did a few interviews, and he basically really wants this Dipset album to happen. He wants a Diplomats album to happen. Cameron just says he's never going to be friends with Jim Jones again. We've heard that, and his gripe with Jim Jones is that he had too many public problems with Cameron instead of keeping the problems out of the public's eye, right? Like when he announced that Cameron should unblock him. He's bringing things to the fans' attention, like, that Jim Jones was removed from the Oh Yeah song. Jim Jones called that out publicly. Then, when Cameron had blocked him on Instagram, he called that out publicly. And it just makes the whole unit look like weak because, when you're fans of a unit like a Dipset or a G Unit, you don't want to see them having public differences with each other because, that stuff should stay behind the closed doors because you got to protect the business. I'm sure things go on at, Samsung all the time and this, but you don't hear them publicly bashing each other within the company. Dipset is a company. You got to look at it like that, and you're messing your money up when you do that. I think it would be great to have another Diplomats album. It would be great for all of them because, it just shows unity. But, Cameron's driven by money just like all these guys are. Now, if Jim Jones really wants it to happen, right, I would say offer it to Cameron where you don't see $1 off of it, okay? Just give it to him. Just say, hey, just take it. Let's do it. You get all the money because you're going to make money on the back end. You'll make money on the shows. And it'll boost your brand up even more. Even though Jim Jones has a strong brand, Juelz has a strong brand, and Cameron has a strong brand on their own, But unified, that's what we all love him for, Dipset. Now, Cameron's expressed that he just, I'm sure it's deeper than what he says, that why he can't be friends with Jim. And let's be honest, the whole Dipset first breakup, it originated around the time Baldwin came out. I guess... I'm sure Jim Jones started acting a little different when he got the fame. Finally he got there, got the fame, was doing, he did a solo deal with Koch. Independent deal. And, things got a little crazy back then, because then Jim Jones was doing his thing, getting the ego. And then Cameron decided to go at 50 Cent without telling Jim or Juelz, and that caused a problem and a rift because Jim and Juelz didn't go at Cameron. They kind of just stayed neutral, and Cameron was there going against 50, which is fine. And Juelz, I must say, always minded his own business with that kind of stuff. Like, even if he had a gripe with Cameron, which I'm sure he did, he kept quiet about it because he understood that, I'm not gonna, first of all, Cameron put me on, and second of all, it's nobody else's business but ours. But Jim had a different approach, kind of went public with it. He met 50 on the basement on BET, and it caused a rift between everything because 50 was manipulating their minds by in the dissing. He said, "Oh, Cameron, you're not the boss anymore. Jim Jones is the boss." He did all that stuff. If you look up the funeral video. But, it's, so then they got cool again in 2010, had a reunion. I'm sure they all made a bunch of money off of that. And then they had their differences publicly on Instagram and Twitter with each other. Cameron always remained just on the defense. He didn't really call Jim out right away. It was always reacting to Jim Jones. So I say, Jim Jones, just do your own thing right now, and things will work themselves out. Like Cameron tried to say that Jim isn't from Harlem. He didn't come around till like they were in their 20s, but Jim always preaches Harlem. So it's like, I think he had family in Harlem, if I'm not mistaken, and he'd go back and forth between the Bronx and Harlem. He's originally from the Bronx, but he talks about Harlem more than anything. So I guess that's where he identified with more than anything. So anyways, on the interview he talked a lot about Harlem and Harlem swag and everything. But, hey, man, I just hope they all work it out eventually. And Juelz is out here back doing his thing. That's a great thing. Cameron and Jim are supporting Juelz. on their gram, so that's a good thing. I think everything will just work itself out, man. It's just brothers having a fight. They'll work it out. Jim just got to stop calling Cam out publicly. Just leave it alone, man. It'll work itself out, man. It'll work itself out. Anyways, what do you guys think about this whole situation? You can't really place the blame on anybody, man. You just got to, these guys will work it out. It's just, they know everything that's going on. We don't, so they'll figure it out. Like, comment, and subscribe.